At the beginning of the story, we see a geologist named Ace. He was doing some research in a forest when suddenly a rattlesnake bit him during his work. The bite caused him terrible pain, and Ace started panicking badly. As he tried to take out his phone to call for help, it slipped from his hand and fell far out of his reach. Without wasting any time, Ace took out a knife he had with him and cut the area where the rattlesnake had bitten him. After that, he tried to suck the venom out with his mouth. By now, his condition had become much worse, so he quickly returned home. As soon as he got home, he drank a lot of water. The pain had become so unbearable that he lay down on his stomach, and eventually, he lost consciousness. When he woke up again, he noticed that his hand had swollen badly because of the snake bite. A moment later, he fainted again. The next time he woke up, it was night time. Ace saw some people outside his house, but after seeing his condition, they simply left without helping him. This felt very strange to him. He tried hard to get up but could not move properly. After drinking a little water, he fainted once again. Several days later, Ace finally woke up. By now, he had recovered somewhat because he had already cut his hand earlier and removed much of the poison from his body. He quickly prepared to leave the house. When he reached his car, he noticed it was covered in dust, as if it had not been used for many days. Ignoring this, Ace drove away. While traveling, he stopped near a store where he saw several dead bodies. A digital board nearby informed him that a deadly pandemic had spread across the city, killing almost everyone. Ace could hardly believe his eyes. He had no idea what had happened. The first thing he worried about was his parents, so he quickly drove to their house. As soon as he entered, he found his father dead, covered with flies and insects. A little further inside, he discovered his mother's dead body as well. Seeing his parents dead completely shattered him emotionally because they were the only family he had left in the world. Ace cried heavily. Afterward, he dug a grave outside the house and buried both of them one by one. Later, to relive old memories, Ace went to his childhood room and slept there. The next morning, when he stepped outside, he saw countless cars everywhere, but not a single living person inside them. To pray and remember God, Ace went to a nearby church, but the sight there was even more horrifying. People had died in the same positions in which they had been praying to Jesus. Disturbed by the scene, Ace drove away again. As he traveled through the city, he realized there was not a single living human anywhere. He entered a store and collected some guns for protection before setting out once more in search of survivors. He believed that if he was alive, then surely others must have survived too. While crossing a bridge, Ace discovered that the road ahead was blocked, so he turned back and drove away. Eventually, he reached a large shopping mall, but even there he found no one. Wanting to relax, Ace went into a heated pool for a bath. Later, while training inside the mall, two people named Anne and Milton suddenly appeared. Ace was shocked because he had been searching for living humans for a long time, and now he had finally found some. Anne and Milton were also happy to see him. During their conversation, Anne explained that both she and Milton had lost their families during the pandemic. Hearing this made Ace feel terrible for them. Milton then showed Ace videos of the pandemic, revealing how a virus had wiped out most of humanity within just a few weeks. Ace was stunned. He explained that his parents had tried calling him repeatedly to warn him about the virus, but he had ignored them because he thought it was fake news like the rumors people often spread online. Later, Ace went to sleep. Since the elevator in the mall was broken, he slept outside near it. The next morning, when he woke up, he searched all over the mall for Anne and Milton. Eventually, he found Anne trying on new clothes in one of the stores. and admitted that the pandemic had broken her completely. She told Ace, "My heart is still beating, but inside, I am already dead." Hearing such words deeply saddened him. Later, the three of them had breakfast together. During breakfast, Milton asked Ace to stay there with them permanently. However, Ace refused because he believed that if the three of them had survived in such a huge country, then there must be many more survivors somewhere in the USA. After hearing this, Anne quietly walked away. Once she left, Milton tried to explain things to Ace. He told him that Anne needed him and that he should stay for her sake. Milton then showed Ace a gun and said there was no point in continuing to live like this because eventually they would all die anyway. According to him, it would be better if they ended each other's suffering. Hearing Milton say this, Ace decided that he should take Anne away with him because he feared Milton might convince her to commit suicide too. When Ace later approached Anne and asked her to leave with him, she refused. Instead, she tried getting emotionally close to him, but Ace gently pushed her away. After that, he left the mall and drove off. Soon afterward, two gunshots echoed from behind. This meant Anne and Milton had killed themselves. Ace became furious with himself and started driving recklessly at high speed. Suddenly, he noticed a dog standing in the middle of the road. Ace immediately slammed on the brakes and stepped out of the car. He approached the dog and named him Lucky because he believed the dog had appeared in his life at the perfect moment. Seeing Lucky gave Ace a new reason to live. He took Lucky into the car and drove to a library, where he collected survival books that could help him stay alive. Afterward, Ace returned home with Lucky and began living alongside him. A whole year passed this way. However, Ace eventually started feeling extremely lonely and longed for human companionship again. One day, when Ace returned home, he noticed Lucky barking at something in the distance. Looking carefully, Ace saw smoke rising from the chimney of a distant house. This gave him fresh hope that another survivor might still be alive. Ace quickly drove there with Lucky. At the house, a woman named Emma pointed a gun at him. Ace calmly explained that he lived nearby and had come because he saw smoke coming from her house. Emma believed him because she too had not seen another living person in a very long time. She invited him inside and made him coffee. Ace asked Emma about herself, and she explained that her father had been an army officer while her mother had been a nurse. Because of them, she knew many survival skills. Ace was impressed by her abilities. Emma invited Ace to stay the night at her house, and he agreed. That night, Ace told Emma that his house was much larger and that both of them could easily live there together. The next day, Emma moved into his house. Emma liked the place very much, especially because there was enough soil nearby where she could grow vegetables. However, when she checked the kitchen, she noticed there was almost no food and the place was very dirty. So, Ace and Emma went together to a supermarket to collect supplies. Along with food, Emma also picked up many vegetable seeds. After returning home, Ace began fishing regularly while Emma started growing vegetables. As time passed, they both grew closer and eventually developed feelings for each other. One day, Emma told Ace that if they wanted to survive long-term, they would need electricity because living without power would eventually become impossible. To solve this problem, Ace went to a market and brought back several solar panels. After bringing them home, he started installing them one by one on the roof. However, the work was difficult and time-consuming. While installing the panels, Ace suddenly slipped and fell off the roof, injuring his ankle badly. Emma quickly carried him inside and treated his injury. That same night, while Ace was asleep, Emma looked through some old photographs. We learned that Emma had once been married and had two daughters. Looking at their pictures made her emotional. A few days later, while Ace was preparing the solar panel setup again, Emma approached him and revealed that she was pregnant. Hearing this news made Ace very worried because he feared bringing a child into such a ruined world. Who would take care of the baby? There were no doctors and no hospitals left. How would Emma give birth all alone? Hearing his concerns, Emma told Ace that she had already given birth to her daughters before without any doctor's help, and this time she would not need a doctor either. This relaxed Ace a little. After that, he quickly went to the library and brought home several books about pregnancy. The next morning during breakfast, Emma told him that she needed protein, which she could only get from meat. Hearing this, Ace took his gun and went hunting. After traveling far into the city, he finally spotted some animals. Ace tried to shoot one of them, but he struggled because he did not have the courage to kill anyone. Even if it was just an animal, still, he gathered his courage and finally shot one. He brought the meat back home. Emma was very happy to see the meat because it was the first time Ace had ever hunted. A few days later, Ace also managed to fully set up the solar panels, bringing electricity back to the entire house. Both Ace and Emma were extremely happy. That same night, Emma showed Ace a giant rat she had found in the boss room. While she was talking about it, they suddenly noticed many more rats gathering outside the house. Seeing them, Ace and Emma rushed outside to kill them. Ace quickly collected all the garbage from around the house and burned it, while Emma shot the rats one by one. Then Ace realized that the rats were coming because of the meat stored inside the house. So he carried all the meat outside and burned it as well. The two of them hurried back inside because the number of rats outside had become terrifying. They sealed the windows and doors with tape. Suddenly, they heard Lucky barking. They realized he had been left outside. Ace quickly opened the door and brought Lucky inside. But many rats entered with him. Ace killed them one by one. Emma then treated Lucky's injured paw where one of the rats had bitten him. For the next several days, they stayed inside the house to avoid the rats. Fortunately, the rats' terror did not last long because stray cats soon appeared on the streets and started killing them one after another. One day, Ace and Emma noticed that there was not a single rat left on the road. Happy about this, Ace stepped outside to confirm it himself, and indeed, there were none left. That very same day, Emma's labor pain began. Ace helped her through the delivery process. During childbirth, Emma realized that instead of the baby's head, the baby's shoulder was coming out first. This terrified both Emma and Ace. Ace quickly tried reading about the problem in the books, but Emma stopped him and told him exactly how to reposition the baby. Ace followed her instructions carefully, and after some time, Emma successfully gave birth to a baby girl. Ace and Emma were overjoyed and named their daughter Heather. A few days later, Emma started spray painting their address around different parts of the city so that if any survivors were still alive, they could find them. The story then jumps 6 years ahead. One day, while Ace was driving through the forest, an animal suddenly ran into his car. He quickly stopped and got out to check. He discovered that he had hit a lion, which was badly injured and struggling in pain. Ace was about to shoot it to end its suffering when he noticed a young girl secretly watching him from nearby. As soon as the girl saw that Ace had noticed her, she started running away. Ace chased after her and eventually caught her. The girl was terrified of him. Ace calmly explained that he would not hurt her and that she could come with him safely. But the girl escaped again. Ace returned to his car and noticed that the injured lion had disappeared. Just as he was about to leave, the girl approached the car. Ace handed her an apple, which she accepted, and then she quietly sat in the back seat. Ace brought her home. After arriving, He and Emma tried to help the girl feel comfortable, but she was so frightened that she refused even to come downstairs. By this point, we learn that after Heather, Emma had another child, a boy named Alex, and she was pregnant once again. Inside the house, we also meet two more survivors named George and Maureen, who had been living with Ace and Emma for quite some time. The next morning, Maureen took breakfast to the girl, whose name was Abby, but Abby threw the food onto the floor. Maureen then noticed that Abby had the same mark on her hand as she did. She gently asked Abby if she could touch her hair, and by doing so, she slowly earned Abby's trust. Later, Maureen prepared a bath for Abby. After leaving Abby in the bathroom, Maureen checked her backpack. Inside, she found a diary filled with disturbing drawings. She also discovered a letter written by Abby's mother. Maureen read the letter aloud to everyone. Through it, they learned that Abby's abusive father was responsible for her terrible condition. Abby's mother had tried to protect her, but eventually she died, leaving Abby alone with her abusive father. Everyone became emotional after hearing the letter. Later, Maureen gave Abby her own room to sleep in. Meanwhile, Emma gave birth to another baby boy, Ace, and Emma named him Joy. One day, everyone was sitting outside the house when one of Ace's traps suddenly moved. Alerted by the noise, Ace and the others grabbed their guns and went into the forest to investigate. There, they encountered three more survivors named Molly, Ezra, and Jean. With them was a small boy named Raph, who was Ezra and Jean's son. Emma welcomed the survivors into their home and explained that there was another nearby house where they could stay. However, Ace did not like this idea because he did not trust the newcomers, especially Molly and the others. Still, after Emma convinced him, Ace reluctantly agreed to let them join the community. Even then, he remained suspicious of them. The next day, Ace took everyone into the city to gather food supplies. Before leaving, he explained the rules carefully. He told them that once their bags were full, they must immediately return to the vehicles because everyone needed to be back home before nightfall. Everyone agreed. Then Molly approached Ace and told him that she had once been a medical student, so she wanted to search a hospital for medicines that could help them later. Ace strictly forbade her from going because he believed dangerous wild animals might be hiding there. Still, after reaching the city, Molly secretly went to the hospital anyway. There, she encountered a wild dog. She quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher and sprayed it at the dog, scaring it away. Afterward, Molly searched for the medicine storage room and found plenty of medicines. She returned safely to Ace and the others. By now, Ace finally believed that Molly and her group were not dangerous people. They genuinely wanted to live peacefully with the community. One night, everyone sat around a bonfire enjoying themselves. Jean sang a song that everyone loved. Later, they all returned to their rooms because it had grown very late. The next morning, Molly noticed that Jean looked extremely sick because after everyone had gone to sleep the previous night, she had secretly consumed a large amount of alcohol. Jean confessed to Molly that she was pregnant again and did not want the baby. Molly comforted her and explained that she needed to give birth because rebuilding the human population was now extremely important. Time continued to pass, and a few months later, Jean gave birth to a child. Around the same time, George and Maureen also had a baby, whom they named Christine. The story then jumps ahead 14 years. Today, the entire community is celebrating Heather's 14th birthday. Joy has also grown older and, just like his father, loves books very much. Because of this, Ace often takes Joy to the library. One day, a powerful storm hits the area. Ace quickly brings Joy home, but then realizes that Lucky is missing. Worried, Ace goes outside into the storm to search for him. There, he discovers that a tree trunk has fallen on Lucky, killing him instantly. Ace is completely heartbroken because Lucky had been his very first friend in this ruined world. Lucky had helped him survive when he had no one else. He truly had been lucky for Ace, giving him hope when nobody else understood him. Later, Ace and the others bury Lucky near their house. One day, Ace goes to check on the children and sees a bee and Joy playing outside. Suddenly, he notices a lion preparing to attack Joy. Without hesitation, Ace jumps in front of the lion to protect him. However, the lion overpowers Ace and starts badly injuring him with its claws. Abby is also there, and for the very first time, she screams loudly to save Ace. Hearing her cries, everyone rushes outside to help. Together, they carry Ace to the hospital they had built themselves. Since Molly had medical knowledge, she immediately begins treating him. She cleans all his wounds carefully and stitches them to stop the bleeding. Everyone in the community is deeply worried about Ace. The next day, while sitting beside him, Molly confesses a secret. She reveals that she had actually failed during her first year of medical school and dropped out afterward. However, Ace does not feel upset hearing this because despite everything, Molly had still treated him very well. Because of Molly's treatment, Ace slowly began recovering. Meanwhile, Emma took a gun and went alone into the forest because she wanted revenge on the lion that had nearly killed Ace. After searching for some time, Emma finally found the lion. The moment she saw it, she fired multiple shots and killed it on the spot. In this way, she avenged Ace's injuries. A few days later, Ace returned to the community because his condition had improved greatly. Everyone was extremely happy to see him healthy again. The story then jumps forward 17 years. By now, all the children in the community had grown up. However, Alex had started becoming jealous of his younger brother Joy because he believed that their father loved Joy more than him. Meanwhile, Heather and Raph had entered a relationship and spent most of their time together. One night, Emma told Ace that Heather and Raph wanted to leave the community and explore the outside world. But Ace refused to allow them to go alone because he believed they were still too young to survive on their own. Emma, however, had a different opinion. She reminded Ace that when she first met him, she had also chosen to stay with him without overthinking anything. She explained that now it was time for Ace to let Heather live her own life in her own way. Deep down, Ace realized Emma was right. The next day, Heather and Raph packed all their important supplies into a car. Before leaving, they promised everyone that they would return by the next winter. After saying goodbye, the two of them drove away to explore the world together. Back at home, Abby was preparing food for everyone when she noticed that all the water had run out. She immediately panicked. Ace, George, and Joy went to check the nearby dam. There, they discovered that the rivers had dried up completely, and the pipes supplying water to their community had rusted and started leaking. At that moment, they noticed several vehicles belonging to other survivors nearby. Those survivors also spotted them. Ace immediately became suspicious because he believed the newcomers might be dangerous for the community. He quickly returned home with George and Joy and warned everyone about the strangers. Before anyone could decide what to do, the survivors arrived at their community. Ace immediately pointed a gun at them because he did not want to take any risks. Their leader, Charlie, calmly handed Ace a bottle of water and explained that although the community had run out of water, his group had plenty. He also revealed that they possessed a drilling machine capable of digging wells. Hearing this, both Emma and Ace started thinking that Charlie and his people might actually be useful because they could solve the community's water problem. So Ace allowed Charlie and his group to stay. After welcoming them, Ace asked Charlie how long it would take to dig the well. Charlie replied that it would require 72 hours. Hearing this made Ace and Emma very happy. The next day, Charlie started drilling the well. That night, Ace and Charlie went hunting together in the forest. Ace spotted a deer and was about to shoot it when Charlie suddenly fired first and killed it instantly. For a moment, Ace felt startled by Charlie's behavior. Later, everyone enjoyed dinner together. During the meal, Ace noticed Charlie staring at a bee in a disturbing way. It made Ace uncomfortable, but he chose not to focus on it at that moment. The following day, when Alex was about to help Charlie with the drilling work, Ace warned him to stay away from Charlie. This led to an argument between father and son. Alex finally expressed the anger he had been hiding for years. He accused Ace of loving Joy more than him. After saying this, Alex stormed away to work with Charlie. Later, Emma approached Ace, and he told her how Charlie had been staring at a bee the previous night. Emma tried to calm him down by saying that men often look at beautiful girls and that it was probably nothing serious. But Ace still did not trust Charlie. As Ace watched Charlie digging the well, he noticed that everyone in the community seemed very happy with Charlie's arrival. Even so, Ace's suspicions remained. Later, Ace went for a walk in the forest and wandered so deep inside that he lost his way back. By the time he finally returned home, it was already very late. Emma had become extremely worried and was about to search for him when he arrived. Furious, she reminded him that he himself had created the community's safety rules, yet now he was breaking them. Ace explained that he had accidentally gone too deep into the forest and could not find the way back. Hearing this, Emma forgave him. The next day, Charlie finally succeeded in digging the well, and water burst out from it. Everyone in the community celebrated happily. At that moment, Ace approached Charlie and told him that his work was finished and that he and his people should now leave. However, Charlie bluntly refused. He admitted that the place was far better than he had expected and declared that he had no intention of leaving. Hearing this shocked Ace because he had already suspected that Charlie had hidden motives for staying there. That night, the community celebrated the discovery of water with a large party. People even started chanting Charlie's name, which deeply irritated Ace. Unable to tolerate it, he left the party and returned home. Meanwhile, Alex was trying to get close to some girls who had arrived with Charlie's group. Later that night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Ace was standing on his balcony when he heard voices behind the house. When he went to investigate, he saw one of Charlie's men, Silas, standing guard outside a bee's house. At the same time, Charlie quietly came out of a bee's house. The moment Ace saw this, he realized something terrible had happened. He rushed inside, and his fears proved true. Molly later examined a bee and confirmed that Charlie had assaulted her. Hearing this filled Ace, Emma, and everyone else with rage. Emma finally understood that Ace's suspicions about Charlie had been correct all along. Emma then told everyone that Charlie was like a virus for their community. She explained that even if they forced him away, he would eventually come back. According to her, the only remaining option was to kill him before he destroyed the entire community. Ace, Molly, Ezra, Jean, George, and Maureen all agreed with Emma. Soon after, Ace approached Charlie's sister and asked her to step outside. The moment Charlie came out after her, the others surrounded him with guns. Charlie started laughing at them. But suddenly, Ace struck Charlie hard across the face with a hammer. Blood poured from Charlie's face as Ace continued hitting him repeatedly until Charlie finally died. While killing Charlie, Ace completely lost control of himself. Later, as Ace cleaned the blood off his clothes, he felt overwhelmed with guilt. He hated himself for what he had done. Emma came to him and assured him that he had done the right thing. Afterward, the community disposed of Charlie's body by throwing it into the sea. The next morning, Jean told Charlie's wife that Charlie had left the community forever and gone somewhere from which he would never return. From her words, Charlie's wife understood that they had killed him. Surprisingly, she felt no sadness because she herself had wanted to escape from Charlie for a very long time. After this, Ace, Emma, and the others ordered Charlie's loyal follower Silas to leave the community because he had guarded a bee's house while Charlie assaulted her. The rest of Charlie's group, however, were allowed to stay because they too had suffered greatly because of Charlie. Silas tried convincing the rest of Charlie's people to leave the community with him, but no one wanted to abandon Ace and Emma's group. As a result, Silas had to leave alone. Soon after, Alex approached Ace and asked him about Charlie. Ace simply replied that Charlie had gone very far away and would never return. Alex found this answer strange, but he said nothing further. Time continued to pass, and eventually 20 years had gone by since the pandemic began. By this point, Joy had invented a flying bicycle, and the entire community was celebrating his achievement. However, Alex was not happy at all because most people in the community constantly praised Joy while barely paying attention to him. That same night, while Ace was teaching Joy how to read books, he noticed that Joy had developed a fever. Soon, many other people in the community also started getting sick. This was not a normal illness, it was a dangerous virus. Anyone infected developed an extremely high fever very quickly. Molly immediately began treating the sick people. When Ace came to help, Molly informed him that this virus looked very similar to the deadly pandemic from 20 years earlier. Hearing this terrified Ace because Joy was among the infected. The next day, Ace and Emma were sitting in Joy's room when Heather suddenly returned home. However, Joy's condition remained critical. Heather hugged her father and cried heavily because during her journey, she had lost Raph. Afterward, she lay beside Joy because it had been a very long time since she had seen him. Meanwhile, Ace decided to travel to another city because they did not have proper medicine to fight the virus. He reached a bridge that was blocked, but somehow managed to find a path through it using his bicycle. After reaching another city, Ace quickly found a medical facility and collected all the medicines he could carry before returning home. At the same time, Heather sat with Jean and Ezra, Raph's parents, and explained what had happened to Raph. She told them that at first, she and Raph had planned only to explore the northern regions of the world. Later, they decided to search for other surviving humans, which was why they could not return by winter. Despite searching everywhere, they found no one. Eventually, they set up camp and decided to rest there for some time before heading home. One day, however, a strange man approached their camp asking for food. That man was actually Silas, though Heather and Raph did not recognize him at the time. Without warning, Silas attacked Raph. During the struggle, Silas stabbed him with a knife. Seeing this filled Heather with rage, and she killed Silas with an axe. But shortly afterward, Raph also died from his injuries. Heather broke down crying. Later, she buried Raph there and returned alone to the community. Hearing this story devastated Jean and Ezra. Meanwhile, Joy's condition kept worsening. Ace returned from the city with medicines and tried to use his own immunity to help Joy recover. However, Heather stopped him because doing so could endanger Ace's life as well. Ace then rushed Joy to Molly, who was treating the other sick people. Molly instructed Ace to place Joy in cold water because his body temperature had become dangerously high. Ace immediately laid Joy inside a tub filled with cold water. Over the next few days, Most of the infected people in the community slowly recovered, but Joy's condition continued deteriorating. Eventually, Joy died from the illness. The death of their son completely shattered both Emma and Ace. Neither of them could handle the grief. They had never imagined losing Joy, especially because he had been talented in everything he did and carried so many hopes for the future. One day, overwhelmed with sorrow, Ace went to the library intending to burn all the books there. But Emma stopped him and reminded him that only Joy had died. Many good people in the community were still alive and needed him. Her words finally calmed Ace down. As more time passed, Ace slowly recovered emotionally. He began teaching the younger children in the community. One day, while looking through Joy's room, Ace discovered a diary containing plans for a radio antenna project Joy had wanted to complete. Seeing this inspired Ace to finish Joy's project himself. After working tirelessly, Ace finally completed the radio system and began trying to contact survivors across different parts of the world. However, no one responded. Later, while everyone in the community was playing baseball together, Heather suddenly remembered that during her travels with Raph, they had repeatedly seen the number 1 to 7 to 5 written in many places. Hearing this gave Ace an idea. He quickly entered the number into the radio system and attempted contact again. For a long time, there was no reply, but eventually, a girl's voice answered from the other side. Hearing another human voice filled everyone with happiness and excitement. Ace and the others learned that the people communicating with them were only about 100 kilometers away. More importantly, there were 77 survivors living there. Ace became incredibly happy after realizing so many humans were still alive. From the conversation, he also understood that these people seemed kind and trustworthy. The story then jumps 50 years into the future. Ace had now grown very old. Beside him stood a young boy named Jack, who was actually Heather's eldest son. We are then shown a massive thriving community filled with many people. Humanity had finally started rebuilding itself, and in the coming years, the population would continue growing. Slowly but surely, the world was beginning to recover again. And with this hopeful scene, the series comes to an end.